That brown sludge inside your cooling system is not just dirty. It is slowly cooking your engine from the inside. And most drivers have no idea it is even there. $1. That is what separates an engine that dies at 150,000 miles from one that runs past 700,000. And it has been sitting in your kitchen the whole time. Nearly 40% of all major engine failures worldwide are caused by overheating, and the majority trace back to one root cause: a clogged, neglected cooling system. Not a blown head gasket, not a failed water pump, just buildup, rust, calcium deposits, and sludge that accumulated quietly over years while the temperature gauge still looked fine. In Japan, mechanics have known about a simple, cheap solution to this problem for decades. In the next 8 minutes, you are going to learn exactly what it is, how to use it correctly, and, just as importantly, when you should never touch it. The silent killer. Your cooling system does two jobs. Everyone knows the first. It prevents overheating. Almost nobody thinks about the second. It protects every metal surface inside your engine from corrosion. Fresh coolant contains anti-corrosion additives that form a protective barrier on aluminum and steel. Over time, those additives wear out. Rust particles begin forming. Calcium deposits build up on radiator tubes. Sludge coats the narrow passages coolant needs to flow through freely. The result is an engine running hotter than its gauges will ever show, because gauges measure average temperature, not the hot spots forming around blocked passages. Those hot spots are where head gaskets fail, where engines that should last 300,000 miles die at 120,000 instead. What almost no warning light will ever tell you. By the time your temperature gauge moves, the damage is often already done. The danger is not the spike. It is the years of slightly elevated heat that came before it. The $1 secret. Japanese mechanics, particularly those working on high-mileage vehicles, have long preferred gentle cleaning methods over aggressive chemical flushes. The reason is aluminum. Most modern engines use aluminum blocks that are sensitive to harsh acids. Industrial flush chemicals can loosen large deposits all at once, sending chunks through narrow coolant passages. They can also attack aging rubber seals in older systems. White vinegar works differently. It contains acetic acid, mild enough to be safe on aluminum and rubber when properly diluted, but effective enough to dissolve mineral deposits and light rust that restrict coolant flow. Workshops in Japan have reported temperature drops of 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit after removing scale buildup with vinegar flushes. A gallon of white vinegar costs under $2. A professional chemical flush kit costs $30 to $60. What the chemical flush industry will never put on their packaging. For most cooling system buildup cases, the expensive product is not meaningfully better than the cheap one. The warning signs. Most cooling systems are already partially clogged long before drivers notice anything wrong. Your engine could be running hotter than designed right now, while the dashboard gauge sits perfectly still. Healthy coolant should appear bright green, pink, blue, or red. If it looks brown, orange, or muddy, corrosion is already active. A heater that never gets truly hot in winter is often a partially blocked heater core, not a failing blower motor. A temperature gauge that rises in slow traffic and drops at highway speed suggests the radiator is struggling to circulate coolant, and one almost nobody connects: reduced fuel economy. When an engine runs hotter than intended, the engine control unit adjusts fueling to compensate. A neglected cooling system can cost you money at the pump every single week without ever triggering a warning light. The sign that matters most. If your coolant has never been changed and your car has over 60,000 miles on it, assume the system needs attention. Do not wait for symptoms. The right way. Most videos show someone pouring straight vinegar into a hot engine and calling it done. That is how you damage seals. The correct method is simple, but specific. Let the engine cool completely. Then drain all old coolant through the radiator drain plug. Mix white vinegar and distilled water at 20 to 30% vinegar. Never pure vinegar, never tap water. Fill the radiator and reservoir to their correct levels. Start the engine and idle until the thermostat opens, around 10 to 20 minutes, so the mixture circulates through the entire system. Drain immediately while still warm. The step that determines whether this works or causes damage: distilled water rinses. Fill with distilled water only, run for 5 to 10 minutes, drain completely. Repeat 2 to 3 times until the water runs clear. This removes every trace of acid and all loosened debris. Skipping this step leaves residue that attacks seals over time. Finish with the correct coolant mixed with distilled water. Never tap water, which reintroduces the minerals you just removed. When never to use it. Vinegar is not a universal fix. And this is the part most videos skip entirely. Never use it if your coolant shows signs of oil contamination. A milky, frothy appearance indicating a blown head gasket. Never use it if you have active coolant leaks. Rust and deposits sometimes act as temporary sealants on micro-leaks. Remove them and the leak appears immediately. Avoid it on vehicles with recently replaced cooling components where new rubber seals have not yet fully hardened. And if your coolant is already clean and regularly maintained, a vinegar flush is completely unnecessary. Overcleaning a healthy system does more harm than good. The rule experienced mechanics follow. Inspect before you flush. Vinegar solves mineral and rust buildup in a neglected system. It does not solve mechanical failures, leaks, or contamination. Know which problem you actually have before you decide how to treat it. The real reason it works. Toyota, Honda, Nissan, the vehicles that routinely reach 200,000, 300,000, even 500,000 miles are not built from better materials. The metallurgy is similar. The engineering is comparable. What is different is the philosophy of the people who maintain them. Japanese automotive culture is built around the idea that small, consistent, preventive actions compound over time into extraordinary outcomes. A $2 bottle of vinegar is not a miracle, but applied at the right time, in the right way, to the right system, it represents exactly the kind of thinking that separates an engine that gets retired at 150,000 miles from one that is still running strong at 700,000. Most drivers wait until something breaks. The ones who reach high mileage never give something the chance to break in the first place. That is not luck. That is not an expensive car. That is a $1 decision made early enough to matter. Sitting on your garage shelf right now, waiting for you to use it.